Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a beginning of the month for February Tarot Oracle reading. And Scorpio, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Scorpio, we still all have a little bit of Scorpio in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Scorpio in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Keep in mind, this is a general or collective reading. Parts of it may or may not resonate. Just take what works for you, leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that might give you further clarity as to your situation now. So we're going to start with the energy from the bottom of the deck. This is the underlying energy for the entire reading. So this conception means that the energy is saying that a project has been launched. Something new is being launched. It's kind of, if you think about Sagittarius energy and them pulling back the bow and arrow and the arrows shooting into heaven, it's kind of like now they're landing. And so the wands represent action and passion. They represent the element of fire, things getting moving, things happening, and it's already been launched. Now, depending on how long ago it was launched or how long it's going to take for it to happen, these wands will land in the order that they're meant to, as required. And then we have the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck for the internal forces. So the internal forces here are about being left out in the cold. So there's an energy here where your internal forces are when you're laying awake at night and you're asking, what if this happens, or what if that happens, or what if they do that? What if that happens? That kind of energy. And it's a loop that you can really get caught up into, and it can stop you from moving forward. This card, being left out in the cold, the Five of Pentacles, represents an energy of not being able to get what you really want. Everything's only ever halfway there kind of energy. Not actually being able to successfully launch something. And so this energy is talking about, two people who are left out in the cold, basically. And they're relying on each other to get through it. This one has no shoes, and this one is on crutches and also has a bell around their neck. So in the old days, if they thought you had the plague, they would place a bell on your neck and you'd be forced to wear it so that when you came into town, everybody would know to avoid you like the plague, basically. And so I guess it made it kind of hard to get a job then, or do what you need to do to function in everyday life. And so this energy is talking about not fitting in, not being isolated due to tactics of others. And sometimes this card also represents being in the energy of, your own unique person. And maybe ever since you were a child, you never felt like you were part of the family, like you were the black sheep. You always felt kind of on the outskirts of the family. We'll look into it some more, and if we need to elaborate more on this, we will. And this beginning card is the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is, the pages would work for the king and the queen in the court, and they generally would start between the ages of 7 to 14. And they would apprentice, basically. They would deliver messages. Oh, hello, Stella. Are you here to help with the reading? Are you? My little cat is here, I guess, to help us. Let's pray that she does so. Oh, she's got happy feet. Her job is to purr. So you already have happy feet. You're halfway there, huh? There you go. All right. So the energy here is saying there's some sort of message coming in. That's what the pages would do. They would deliver messages between people in the court, run small errands, tasks. And as they advanced, when they were older, if they went, when they were 21, if they were really good at what they were doing and well suited for it, then they would, and they could afford a horse, they might even be considered for knighthood. And though in those days they would always be male, but all the characters in tarot are archetypes. So this could be a female in their masculine energy. And it's also not so much about age, but it's about the feeling of that age, if you understand. Like some people take longer to mature than others, just put it that way. And so this energy, though it does represent communication coming in, and these days we have so many forms of communication. A lot of times it wouldn't be in person anymore. It could be a letter in the mail. It could be, like bank statements, that kind of energy. It can be a phone call, a text message, an email. It could also be something you see posted on social media or like being invited to an event and bumping into someone. So there's all sorts of ways that we communicate these days. And okay, so this is regarding, it appears to be there's a lover involved. So this energy is talking about, two people who are destined to meet at some point. This is a divine partner orchestrated by God. The Lover's card is saying, it used to be a card that meant about choice, like about making a choice between people, like this one or that one kind of energy. But now it's kind of evolved into the romantic love. So it's saying, make sure that you know your partner really well before you, take them on and like really bring them into your life full circle. The cloud in between is representing, okay, you might be really attracted to each other, but do you know each other really well? Okay, and then we have the energy of the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is sitting on her throne, and she's representing the health, wealth, and happiness, like the pentacle, that's the element. And she is, the page probably works for her, basically, and delivers messages for her. She is sitting on the throne, and she is known for being very resourceful, very good with making something out of nothing. She prefers quality over quantity. We're talking like old money here. We're talking like a legacy for generational wealth. This is not a small amount of money. This is, a good amount of money. And someone that probably who has been raised with money and taught how to handle money properly. We have the Hermit coming in. So the Hermit is talking about, like, if you've had a black night of the soul, which is feeling isolated and left out, this energy is saying the Hermit goes up to the top of the mountain to isolate himself from society rather than society isolating him. This can be you isolating yourself from society. And that's what I'm kind of waiting for. I've been noticing this energy coming in that a lot of people are kind of withdrawing right now. Normally, I would say that this is a card because of the snow. Edward Snowden did define some tactics that are being used. There's 7 tactics that the government and government institutions, big corporations, etc., have a tendency to use to gather information, privacy information. Since that was a long time ago that he identified these, and he ended up in Russia. He is considered either a hero or a traitor. I don't know enough about that part of it. I just know that the information about the tactics that he presented as being used are also tactics that we use in our own life against each other. And I have a firm belief that, or not even a belief, it just it makes common sense that if we're paying someone, then we're employing them as the government. That when we vote for them, that is us giving agreement for them to run things. So that it's that kind of energy where if we're going to employ those tactics amongst ourselves, then of course we're going to be okay with employing people that use those tactics. So it's a two-way street basically. But the tactics are, just ways that people use to get their own way, basically. And quite often it's people that come together to do it. And this energy can, I just call them snowflakes. And so we can all handle a snowflake or two, but when they add up, they can actually collapse your roof in, and it can become a big problem. So the snowflake energy is how I normally read this card, because that's usually how it has always presented itself. But as I'm working with more and more people online here, I'm learning more and more from all of you. Thank you. And what I'm learning also is this could come from inside, someone wanting to isolate themselves because perhaps they don't feel like they fit in. Human beings have a very natural, basic instinct to want to be part of a tribe, to want to belong, to, to enjoy other people. But if, for instance, those tactics have been used and you've been isolated, then you might prefer to actually stay that way. That a lot of people end up that way. Or it can represent someone that actually has a lot of qualities within them that are different from the people around them. And that's the way God made you. And so this could be saying, that you're not supposed to fit in. And this is what's been coming up a lot, that you're not supposed to be putting the puzzle together. You're not a piece of the puzzle. You're the person that is putting it together, sorry. So this is the energy. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out because you have special qualities that are required in this universe right now. And we see that, like how, one person can be like, end up getting so much done, when it comes to what's happening in the world. One person can stand up and say, say this is what has happened to me and this has to change, and it does. And so that still happens every day now. And so there's heroes, that sometimes are different. And so sometimes if you don't fit in, that's a really good thing. And you don't want to be isolated and not be able to have any fun with any people or anything. But sometimes if you've been through a challenging situation like the dark night of the soul, it's a good idea to isolate so you can sort out who was involved, what they did, what you did, what you need to do differently now, who you need to let go of, who you can still remain in contact with, that kind of energy. And that's what the energy I'm feeling here. So it could be regarding a lover that now you've had to let go and you're healing. And so that's okay. Like if that's the energy, then, when you're ready, then you'll come down from the mountain and put what you've learned into action. And it's a whole new world then. And I feel like this is really interesting because as I'm talking about this, it's talking about, a fool is in the major arcana of the tarot. The fool starts out at the 0 point and they start on their journey. As they learn, they go. And by card 21, that's the world, that cycle is over. And so some people who are more adventurous go through a lot of cycles in their life. They end one cycle and they're, okay, let me at her. I want to learn some more. And that's the energy. And so sometimes it puts you in this energy. I look at like people like Nikola Tesla, who ended up being very isolated when he was old, a total genius. But must have felt very lonely because who could really begin to understand him and the things that he was seeing? He was such a genius and ended up like just all alone, isolated, and had was in this energy. Basically, he a lot of his work was stolen from him, and it was just that kind of energy. But he went through many cycles in his life where he was inventing one amazing invention after the other, and I felt like each of one of those was a cycle. So in the end, the last cycle was kind of a sad one, like of isolation. But when you look at the overall picture, he was really a brilliant, brilliant man. And this is the Emperor. And the Emperor is talking about having all the qualities of all four kings rolled into one person. So this is someone that's all about performance. He's got his armor on underneath his robe because he's ready to go at a moment's notice. And so this is talking about someone that's very highly placed, and rightfully so. He has the wisdom. He knows how to use his intellect. He's good with his words. He is good at bringing thoughts and bringing them down to earth and making them happen. He's good at business. He understands the value of money. He also is very contained in his emotions. So he's emotionally available because he doesn't react to his emotions. He responds to them. And the energy is also, he knows how to love and has a high regard for himself. The people around him have a high regard for him and go to him for advice. That's the kind of energy. And so that is a very well-rounded person. to get to the emperor status, you have to go through a couple of cycles at least. It's about life experience. The only people that are born an emperor are the ones that are born an emperor like, through bloodlines, and that's few and far between. The rest of us, if we want to get to an emperor status or an empress status, we have to really work on ourselves, on our inner selves, on our shadow side, and also in the physical world. What are we doing with our time and our energy? And that's what the Pentacles are about. So it's kind of that kind of energy. It's coming in a little bit different in this reading. We have the Page of Pentacles, and this is how you identify it with yourself right now, that you're waiting for some information to come in regarding some Pentacle energy. And we have abundance and your self-image. So this could be you considering yourself as a lover, or making a choice about who you want as your lover, that kind of energy. This is communication from early life. Yes, I'm feeling like this energy of someone that was raised with money, that has a good understanding of it, has had a lot of opportunity, to be able to explore different avenues, due to just being raised around people. Like this page, the pages would be normally from the families in the surrounding area that had higher society families, and sometimes even distant cousins to the kings and queens. So they were highly placed, and to be allowed to be in the palace and really understand what it's like to be a royal, like to get an idea of it on some level anyway, is a huge education in its own. And then we have the home and family. So this is talking about your emotional foundation. And I just feel like maybe you felt like when this came up in this place, that's when I said that this could be not about tactics that have been used against you or whatever, but that you have gone inward because you want to, and you stick out and you never feel like you fit in with your family 100% or your friends, or you just feel like I'm kind of odd compared to everybody else. And, what some people call, what you might be calling odd, other people might be calling genius, or what you are calling odd could be that like maybe you're so good at something and you just, you can't see it. Like other people, like you're a star, like you can really sing, and that if you went on one of those talent shows, for sure you would win. You're an artist and you're really, really good, but you don't see it. That kind of energy. It's just comes so naturally to you that it's just like, you just kind of assume everybody can do it. And I feel like that could be the case in this reading. This launching of a project, I feel like that it's that energy that I was talking about, like someone who loves to go through a lot of cycles in life. Because we're only like, this is in the creativity, romance, and children. But I feel like maybe you cycle through people really quickly too because of it. Like you might be someone that has been, traveled a lot, been around a lot of people, had a lot of lovers, had a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of people. And, you finish one cycle and then it's like, oh, I'm going to go start a cycle over there, and you move across the world kind of energy. And it's not that hard for you to do that because that's how you're built. And so it's kind of not really understanding that you are very different for good reason, that some people, it could take them a whole lifetime to go through one cycle. And you've probably been through like 20, I'm getting. And so, and that's what does bring people into this emperor energy, is going through a lot of cycles, going through a lot of different circumstances and situations and having to figure them out kind of energy, okay, I'm over in this country doing this, and holy, they sure do things differently than they do back home kind of energy. So we'll see. So this is the internal forces. I feel you have a really good grip on your internal forces being in this energy. And I don't know that it even bothers you so much being the odd person out. You've just accepted it. I feel like this also can talk about a little bit of what we see now with the autistic spectrum being recognized, that there's more and more of that energy out there anyway, of people being preferring their own company. And then we have this energy here. So this is talking about cutthroat competition, basically. We'll do anything to win competition. This is coming from the external forces. So we're going to take it from that level that you are having to deal with people from the external forces, like outside of yourself, that are causing you to maybe be in this energy, be isolated in this energy. We'll look into it some more here. This is talking about someone who, I don't get you normally like really want to fight, but you will. And sometimes because the swords represent being intellectual and using your thoughts and your words and, you know, vocalizing your words, etc. This could represent that, you know, you'll fight more with words and your intelligence and win every time than having to resort to fists kind of energy. It's just kind of reminds me almost of Charlie Kirk, you know, going around to all the universities and teaching the university students about critical thinking, which, you know, what a hero to do that, really. You would think that they would learn critical thinking in a university, but apparently not. So somebody had to go there and debate. And he was very quick with his words, and, you know, he did his best to be, you know, he came off for sure as being arrogant, but at times, but you know, he was smarter. He had more experience. So, I mean, that was just the way it is. That's one of life's lessons, you know, that you learn. That was before helicopter parenting. So, yeah, this is about some communication coming in. And the Knight of Swords is coming in with some communication. And, you know, this is an energy, like you look at this horse, and this horse is very stressed out. This energy's been coming up a lot in the readings. The information here is, like, as I said, the knights, you know, if they put up for knighthood, and then they would deliver messages far and wide, and also protect the castle and the kingdom. But this energy, the thing about this knight is he's in a hurry. He's really pushing his horse. Even his horse is stressed out. So this is a lot of emotion going, I got to get there, I got to get there. Now he's either running from the Emperor to the Queen of Pentacles, or a lover, you know, that kind of energy, or he's running away, you know. Is he running away from, who is he running away from, and who is he running to? So someone could be chasing him because they don't want the information to get back to the palace. This is all your energy. So I feel like, because the Emperor trumps, that this might be you, your energy, and this could be the lover that you are considering to be in your life kind of energy. There's some information coming in about the Knight of Swords, and so from the Knight of Swords, and the thing is, you can only see half his sword, and you can't see the point. So I feel like he only has half the information, and so he could be getting it all wrong. Like, if this person is someone that has been put out in the cold through tactics, then you know, there'd be a lot of gossip and that kind of energy around, you know, reputation smearing, that kind of energy. Then this person only knows maybe half the story, and his information isn't complete. He's running against the wind through barren land, so it's kind of representing that energy. And again, we're talking about also on the 17th of February, we're moving into the year of the horse energy, from the snake energy. And it's a very different energy, and I feel like it's starting to really affect people. It's almost like people are wanting to, like, gallop, you know, like, get things done. We've got to get things done. They can, like, the energy's changing. You can feel it. And so this is the external forces. Now, this is in the position here. This is about your marriage partners and commitment. So I feel like this is the energy coming in. And I feel like, as I said, the Emperor trumps when it comes to who is this internal force is about. It could say the Emperor also has the qualities of the Queen of Pentacles, but with the Lovers card here, I feel that this is, you know, who he's interested in, and maybe he has been gathering information to see, you know, what is this person about, because he has to also think an emperor is a public figure, and he has to make sure, you know, is there going to be any scandals, that kind of energy. Okay, and then we have, yes, this card represents, from the external forces, it's carrying other people's burdens. And so this card is representing, you know, these wands. Like basically there's 10 here, but it's kind of representing wands of actions you've taken and they've been planted. Boom, 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 boom. And then they grow and they bring in a harvest of some sort. So this is actually a bountiful harvest, but some of it could be burdensome now. Like, you know, you could plant seeds. Like, for instance, one example I can think of is you could decide, you know, I really want to move into that. I want to purchase that house. I really, you know, I really love the house and I love the neighborhood it's in and everything. But after living there for a year or so, you realize I don't really want to be here. But now the market is soft. And so you have to, you know, kind of wait and make sure, you know, the timing is right to sell it. But it was something that it was a wand that you planted. You got what you wanted when you made that decision, and it could be a really sound decision, but it's just for personal reasons. You realize your circumstances might have changed or whatever, and now it's like, you know what? I don't really want to look after a yard, or you know, I miss having a yard. That kind of energy, whatever it is. So that's just one example. So, and then it can also be burdens from other people that other people have put on you and you've taken up for yourself. And so this card can sometimes be saying, you know, it's time to put some burdens home. You're so close to getting home to get what you want. You know, like maybe 8 of these wands are what you planted and 2 of them are other people's shift that you've been carrying, and you're tired of carrying their shift and it's heavy. And it's like, I want to put it down. So this card quite often says there must be a better way to do something. Like there must be an easier way to get this harvest home and then sort it out. Or just if you know which ones are burdens that don't belong to you, just put them down and let whoever is responsible for them. You know, it's saying look how close he is to home, but he can't see it because the burden is so heavy. So it's that kind of energy. Yeah, and then we have this energy. So now this is confirming this energy was tactics. You don't end up in this kind of condition without someone putting some energy into it. So this is talking about the energy of being stabbed in the back. Like there's 10 swords here. This isn't like, oh, someone had a bad day and they snapped at you and they said something nasty. This is about concerted effort, thought being put into doing this to someone. They're down on the ground and it's like they're almost unalived here, looking into the horizon, wondering if they can ever get up again. It's that kind of energy. But the right hand here is in the form of a blessing, which is also similar to what the Hierophant's hand is in the Oracle, who brings in justice. So there is a blessing in disguise here, that kind of energy. It can represent, like this could be like a decade, you know, 10 years of this energy. Could be one person doing this to you 10 times. We've got this energy here, but I feel that these actions here are your own actions. And so only 2 of these are the burdens of other people, but they could have gotten different. This could represent 10 groups coming together. This could represent 10 people coming together. This could be, you know, one person doing something 10 times, but whatever they were doing, they put a lot of effort into it, a lot of thought. It's calculated, you know, energy, wanting to take you down. And then this is okay, so now we have this card coming in about the 3 of wands. And so this energy is talking about someone standing on the horizon, and this is water here, and the ships are sailing in, but it looks like sand because it's golden, but that's just the sun shining on it. So this person is deciding, should I move forward and go to that other horizon in the distance there and leave where I'm at? And that's this kind of energy. So I feel like, you know how I said like 2 of these might not be yours? I feel like that's the energy here. But quite often when this card comes up, and also in the context of the lovers here, it feels like you might have decided you don't want to be in a couplehood anymore. This could be what, regardless if you're in a married commitment or you have someone that you're, in a committed relationship with. That I don't know. There's so many different levels of how people talk about their relationships when it comes to the dating world. But this is someone where the two of you are exclusive to each other. And now you've decided that you want to leave that relationship. You've gone through that portal and holding this one wand. And this card for me sometimes represents this energy here of, this energy here could have been something about these swords, that this person did this to you kind of energy. He doesn't have the whole truth, but he wants to let you know, be careful. Oops, I guess I was a little bit late, but you're still alive. And the blessing in disguise is now part of it anyway, of what happened. And that maybe this lover isn't the best lover for you after all kind of energy. So it could be to do with that. They sabotaged you basically. And so now you've decided, okay, I'm going to be single instead. And my ships are sailing by. I may as well hop on one and go do something different entirely. Just get out of this town, and not being tarred and feathered and run out of town, but just being in a space where, this isn't working for me anymore. And so this is about being really patient. Temperance is about staying on your path. So it could have been that at one point this was what you really wanted and you really thought you had what you wanted. And maybe it was what you wanted at the time. But as time evolved, you realized, oh, this isn't going to work, and went and isolated yourself so that you could figure out, okay, what is it I really want? And that ended this thing, and now you're moving on to this. Feel like it's kind of like it's not worth it to you to stick around and deal with these people in this situation when you have more than you have the ability to move on to whatever. Now, this could be the Queen of Pentacles that made this decision, or this could be the Emperor that made this decision. But I really feel like the Emperor's energy is dominating here. And then we have, just getting out of this prison here, this energy here. This is a mental prison. It's like feeling duty bound. This is talking about wanting to be on your destined journey and then being duty bound with others' energy, And look at it. I mean, I feel like it would be this person. So I feel like, whatever happened here, it may have started out great and whatever. And that's why you need to get to know your lover. Like, I mean, it's okay, you're in this relationship, you're exclusive, but now you realize it's not going to work out. And some information came in regarding it. This is really interesting because this reading I just did, I'm pretty sure it was just the Virgo reading. And they had the similar situation, but the information was inaccurate. But it was a really similar energy. So it's talking about, and I think this card came up and this card came up, and possibly this one. I don't think this one did, and maybe that's why it turned out differently. But that's the energy. I think maybe the Page of Pentacles came in. I can't remember exactly, but in any case, it's kind of like different scenarios of how this could happen. So there was some truth here, but it wasn't the whole story. And maybe the Emperor could realize, like, this isn't going to work for me, and I'm going to move on. He took some thought about, I think this is somebody he really cared about, but it's like, I can't see myself being in this situation for, like being in a long-term relationship with this person. And not really maybe wanting to come to that conclusion, but, that's the conclusion. Because this is talking about having patience with someone and really like wanting it to work out, wanting it to be part of the divine path, but it just wasn't meant to be kind of energy. And not wanting to be in this mental prison anymore. This is like kind of being in a, feeling like, oh, okay, I don't belong here anymore. And I just feel like this Emperor has itchy feet anyway. It doesn't take much for him to want to move into a new cycle. Some people are just built that way, and that's just the way they are. You know, my mom used to say, well, they're just not marriage material. And she didn't even mean that in a bad way. She just meant they're not meant to settle down kind of energy. So that could be how you're feeling right now, Scorpio. It's actually not uncommon for Scorpios to feel that way, actually. They're the sexual gladiator of the universe. That's the title they get. So it's for good reason. You know, and it's an energy. It's just not wanting to be bound, you know, not wanting to have to say, okay, I'm going to stay here for the rest of my life, or I'm going to, you know, tie myself down with this property, and this is where I'm going to live for 20 years. Just not like being a little bit more of a nomadic spirit. Could be someone that's, you know, if you're on the cusp of Sagittarius or Scorpio energy in between, you could have a lot of Sagittarius energy in you as well. That is like more adventurous than that. But it's just kind of what it is basically here. Like we didn't see a whole lot of pentacles in here. It's not like there was any, I feel like this was just, there might have been something that happened, but I don't think the Emperor really cared about that part so much. He would, the Emperor is, because the Emperor can handle the truth, the Emperor would rather have the truth and not have to go searching for it and have it come to him. You know, and sometimes that's why the Emperor has learned, just give people a long enough leash and they'll show you exactly who they are. You know, you can only fake being someone for a short amount of time. So do like and comment if you're enjoying this. And I am going to clarify it now for those of you who would like clarification. It's kind of life. It's just, you know, I don't even feel there's any, like, I'm not even, I mean, this energy here, I don't think it worked on the Emperor, but there was a lot of effort put in. The Emperor is wearing his shield underneath his cloak anyway, so he was probably protected. He's smarter than that kind of energy. Sometimes people play dumb so that they can really see what people are really about too. So I'm going to clarify with my Oracle Tales from the Vector, and that's TAILS. And it's from the courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I started it in 2007. In 2020, I completed 64 paintings. And now I'm working on bringing it out there. So the energy here is that maybe the problem is the Emperor is looking for an Empress and hasn't found one yet. You know, Emperors and Empresses aren't that easy to come by. So that could be that, because this card can sometimes represent conception. And conception is, you know, regarding babies as well. And maybe the Emperor does not want to settle down and have a family and have children and do things in that way unless he finds someone that he wants to have children with, that kind of energy. And so when he finds that person, then he's more likely to do the settling down, you know, for a cycle or two anyway, is the energy coming up. So also then this is talking about the sun covering this. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in a second. I just want to finish so I don't forget that in the description box below, the numbers that are on these cards represent the paintings in my gallery in the order they appear. So you can go check out the information in the paintings if you would like, if you want more information about the cards here. I'm working on with them like this until I gather the information that I want to be able to put in the book. Like I never thought about the connections of the Five of Pentacles in the way I've been seeing it in the last week. It's totally different from how I've seen it in the past. So it's kind of really cool seeing all these different angles on the cards. And so the sun is coming in, and the sun is saying if there's any tactics that need to be exposed, that the truth always comes out, and it's saying like the sun eventually melts the snow. I'm from Canada, so I know. And in the prairies, like you can have winter for 4 or 5 months. And, you know, if you happen to own a dog and you're letting it out of the house to do its business, and you don't clean up after it, you can't even imagine the disgusting mess and the smell in the spring when the snow melts. And that's what what this card is saying. It's saying that the sun will eventually melt the snow, and everybody will see and smell the stench of what has happened when these kind of tactics are being used. You can't hide these tactics forever. And so, you know, if it's just you isolating because you want to isolate, that's one thing. If you've been put in this position by other people and that it's not safe for you to come out of it, you know, eventually their shift, the snow will melt and it will be exposed. And then it works out in the end. Like there's justice. And so this is talking about, you know, like it did here in this reading. You know, hey, this person is sabotaging you behind your back, and I'm coming in to tell you before you sign that marriage certificate, you know, don't do it. You know, what is it when you're at the wedding and they ask that question, is there anyone here that feels that you don't want to wait till then? You want to do it before that. So this is the All-Star. This is about using your intuition as well as your logic to be able to have the lifestyle that you want. You can, like, as I said, you can have all the money in the world, and we see it a lot on the news right now, like these people that have all this money, all this power, all this influence, all the talent in the world. And look how, like, I mean, it's just being shown day after day through all those files being released, how unhappily people were actually living. It's just mind-blowing. And then we have, if you're on a foolish journey with someone, it's going to create expectations, and expectations will always create limitations, because you may expect that things are going to go a certain way, and then you don't really want to see when they don't, so you don't pay as much attention because you are expecting, oh, it'll work out kind of thing. And sometimes, you know, well, expectations will create limitations. And so this is about being on a foolish journey instead of being on a foolhardy journey, falling off your path, being with someone that's not really going to empower you. They might drag you down, actually. And then this is talking about immaturity. And so, like, it's talking about also, you know, when the full moon is out, we can really get emotional and get into those states of emotion. And on that energy coming in, and I will be doing reading, just watch for it for the new moon and full moon reading about when the year of the horse comes in and that. And I do have, it's on the same playlist as the Valentine's Day readings, but the energy of the fire horse, how it affects each sign. I went into more detail for it there. So the energy, basically, because this is the one thing that you don't want to be doing in the fire horse energy is impulsive behavior, like racing in, you know, and giving half information, and then reacting to it, and, you know, having being angry and going on Twitter and then regretting it the next morning. So this is talking about, you know, using your insight and your intuition to follow the cycles of the moon also as well, like to be able to get answers that are, and using your logic and your intuition together to have creative solutions. This is judgment. Yeah, going up to the mountain and communing with God. Really, basically, this is a pink and green dragon, and she's falling through the sky. She's from the Pleiades, but she's upright, and she shows up twice in my oracle. But this is talking about the cosmic heart, and it's also talking about, really, God is the only one that really knows what happens to people and that what drives them. We don't know. You think you know someone, but you don't really know someone as well as you do, and they might not even know themselves as well as they do. So that makes it even more complicated. So really, God's the only one that can really truly judge another person. Having said that, you can judge your experience with someone and say, yeah, it's not for me. We have Capricorn energy. So this is talking about, you know, in being ambitious. Like this energy I'm talking about is like some people are just built that way, where they just love to take on projects, and they love to change it up and learn new things all the time and experiment and observe. And, you know, that's the kind of energy that they're in. And those kind of people don't have a tendency to follow like the traditional norms of how other people live, which is fine, you know, as long as they're upfront about it. And then the Leo energy is talking about being a really good leader. The full moon that we just had was in Leo. opposed by the Aquarius energy, and now the new moon's going to be in Aquarius opposed by the Leo energy. So it's an interesting dynamic. It's about, a Leo is meant for leadership. Leos are born to lead. They're very charismatic and brilliant. The thing is that it can take a long time to mature to be a leader, and it's talking about this Emperor energy. So a lot of times, you think Leo is kind of think of the stage of life as being like a teenage boy, impulsive, a little bit scatterbrained. I mean, what did they say now? The frontal lobe of your brain takes like 20 till you're 21 to develop. But now they're saying it's more like 24, 25. So it's this impulsive behavior that you want to avoid, and running on that, getting into that impulsive behavior and making like really important decisions while you're in that energy. This is talking about having the strength. So this actually belongs here on the external forces. So that in inner integrity, within yourself, the battle of wills within yourself, having the strength to really take a look at your fears and your part in things and that, and being able to discipline your mind so that you can become this good leader that you're meant to be. And like I said, the emperor doesn't start off as an emperor unless he was born one, but it doesn't mean he acts like one even then. And we have the wheel of fortune is turning. So this is saying your fortune is turning here in this position. This is a position of transition. So, and this is a picture, this is your commitment, marriage, partnerships, and this is some secrets coming to light, transition. That means putting some burdens down that you're carrying, or bring the harvest in, sort through it, sort through it, like what you want to keep, what you want to let go of kind of energy. Higher learning. So sometimes people, when they're in a position of higher learning, they abuse their power. And this is talking about, abuse of power is very common. And, we kind of are seeing a lot of that now. The devil energy is coming in here. So this is about temptation. And so temptation, again, that's talking about, I think I'd be better off single. At least if you know it, then do so. If that's the energy that you're in. It's rather than lying about it and being in in an energy that you don't want to be in. This card, when it comes in, you're not going to get the truth from the devil energy. This is an archetype for temptation, and the devil's not going to say, I have something really ugly for you, and you want to sell your soul. And then after that, I'm going to manipulate you, and then I'm going to take it from you. Oh, do you want to sign here? They're going to show you something really pretty and sparkly, and something, whoa, that's desirable kind of energy. And so that's the the energy. Let's see if the devil doesn't do his own dirty work. He has to send in a minion. And so we have the Pisces energy here. So this is someone in an authority position that abuses their power. Man, where are we seeing that right now as we watch the Epstein files come out one after another? We see these, people that are in a position higher than most people on the planet, and they choose to use it to defile innocent people that don't, deserve it, basically. Anyway, I won't get into it because I don't but that's the energy that we have out here right now, and it's coming up in all of the readings constantly. So this is also talking about, timing and being patient and staying on your path, because the Libra energy is talking about being in the state of being where you are ready and mature and committed to wanting to be in a marital partnership, if that's what you're wanting to do. And this basically, Libra energy is about marriage. It's also the scales of justice. And so it's talking about being mature enough to say, okay, yeah, I can commit to that. And if you're 75 when you finally do that, or never do it, it doesn't matter. But knowing that about yourself, that, if that's not who you are, don't pretend that's who you are kind of energy. And then we have the degradation. So, if tactics are being used and someone has gone to this extent, and you feel ashamed because maybe you didn't see it coming, or you were fooled or whatever. Really the shame, especially like when we're talking about what happened, like we're watching a lot of this information coming out from these files, and the victims like not coming forward because they were so ashamed of their behavior, but they were like 14, 15, 16, 17. And these were, they were being introduced to the people that were running the world. And they're feeling guilty because of their actions. It's that kind of energy. The degradation doesn't belong to the innocent. The degradation belongs to the people who would abuse their power and degrade the innocent. And so that's the energy. Can't seem to keep that energy out of my readings right now. I guess I'm not supposed to. So please do like and comment if you've enjoyed this reading. I feel it's been full of really good information. And it's really interesting because very similar to the Libra reading, but in the Libra reading, it turned out that the information was inaccurate, which is really interesting. So consider subscribing if you resonate to the energy. I would consider it an honor if you did so. Bye for now, and I will bring out that new reading about the fire horse energy coming in on the 17th. Bye for now, Scorpio.